signatures on it, process it. If you make that electronic, it will just move it along and everything's fine. And that's true, that's what workflow is. And the problem with it is, it's too simplified. Because once you start to dig down into what workflows really are, and all the different things that occur during a workflow, people making decisions, people saying yes or no on what they can see versus trying to have to call somebody else on a form. Plus, the end user has to fill it out in the first place, and now often our forms filled out improperly. A lot if they're in paper, right? Electronically, it's no better unless you give them hints or you fill it out for them. So the workflows are much more complicated than just going from A to B to C. The first thing you do is you're going to have to design a form after you've talked to the end users and not the end users, but the sponsor of the program. So in these particular workflows, we've got 3 sponsors set up for you that you'll be talking with to explain exactly what we need, what type of forms. We do have some certain standard forms, such as if an end user has to fill in their name and they have an account with us, we fill in all the information automatically for them based on their login. So when you first come in and you bring up the form, it's half filled out already, and it's filled out correctly because it's based on our network and what they're already logged in as. So that helps. The next thing is typically, in most workflows, is if the end user has to sign off on it and submit it, the next person to see it is going to be a manager. That's very typical around here, even for the most basic access form and so forth. Your manager should be aware of what's going on with you, so we make sure that the manager has to sign off and approve on a workflow. The next steps is where it really gets kind of tricky. And workflows can go, C, D, and E, or they can go out in the multi-branch, and then they can maybe wait till everything comes back together, or maybe they can process once one of them gets through. So there's a lot more at that point in time after it goes from A to B as to where it's going to go through the organization, who has to see it. And then, of course, the completion of it, and when is it completed, what do you do with the form when it is done, what actions do people have to take based on the form. So all of that has to be documented. A lot of them, like an access form, we have a typical one that we already have in place is the network access. You go in, you request network access, it's built in the form, and it sends it to your manager as soon as you click submit. Where does it go from there? Well, then it goes to the network guys to see what kind of access you should have. And then it routes back around to the help desk in order for them to actually physically set up the access for you. And then from there, once they click I'm done, and again, now the user has not seen this on the form, nor has the manager. They just saw this portion of the form. After it goes through there, then once the help desk gets it, they may click on it, and it goes out and advises the end user, you're all set up, here's your access, whatever. Okay? So there's a lot more to it. Don't stop at the lowest, at the early stages. I get a lot of end users that will say, well, I only want to go through this. And when you start questioning them about the workflow, they're going, well, yeah, I really did want to do that for it. Well, we do that already with the paper time, but I didn't think you could do that. You can do anything you want with workflow. We typically use a system, and the system that we program in workflow is full-on-based for a document management system. We have 38 million documents in it, but we have the workflow. Since an access form has to be kept, it's also a document, so what do you do with the form when you're done? Well, they have to file it with. We don't file them. We put them into a document management system that allows us to keep them, retain them based on retention and so forth, and it keeps it for us. But what it allows us to do is keep an audit trail, so that when something happens, the auditors always come back and say, who approved this person? When did they approve them? They're no longer here. They got terminated. Why is this still here? And those types of things. So there's just a ton of different workflows to do. If you think about all the forms that occur just at the school, that you guys fill out on a daily basis, just, whatever the form is, wouldn't it be nice to just be able to log into a smartphone, we've got smartphones, or onto a terminal and just submit it, and everything's already filled out for you. That's what we're trying to accomplish. The savings is huge. It documents a business procedure everybody understands the procedure right up front. Everybody knows exactly what's going on with it. And it becomes part of the culture. And that helps, because a lot of times you'll get into it where the end user says, I'm not going to put in that form. What we've done at Emerson is that you'll use this form or you won't get the access. That's the only form we're accepting. We're no longer taking paper form. We just had a major battle with corporate, because corporate Emerson out of St. Louis doesn't have a workflow system yet. And they had a form that they wanted us to go on, and we would fill out a form for request for SharePoint. Actually, it's for access to the email system, so you can get your email on your smartphone. And they wanted a form. And that form had to be on this SharePoint site out of corporate. And only specific people could go and fill that out. And yet the end user still had to notify. So we had to build another form in the back end of that. It says the end user requests that, his manager signs it, then it's got to go to my guy, who then has to take our paper form, put it in the computer on their SharePoint site, only for that workflow to generate another email to go over to their help desk. Okay? At which point then from the help desk it goes over to the network guys and opens up, or the email guys, it opens up the email access. Now the thing about that is that's incredibly crazy for what you're trying to accomplish. We looked at it. The very first thing I said is we're not doing it. I don't care if everybody wanted access to their email on their smartphones. We're going to put in a form. And so what I negotiated, and it was major negotiations because you have to get everybody in the step to agree to it, is we're going to make our form electronic. Nobody in our place is going to turn around and type in that form into their website. We're going to mimic their website output, thereby passing that part, and push it on into corporate the way they wanted to see it. And we let them know, and we did give them some additional information to make their job easier because we know what they wanted. They took talks with security out at Emerson, because it was a security thing, so only certain people fill out this form. Had to talk to their email people, had to talk to their help desk people. Finally, they all agreed that that was a big labor savings. We're the only ones that did it. Everybody else was doing it manually by the way I suggested earlier. So now we have a form that doesn't even touch us. It goes from our end user all the way out to St. Louis and back. And that's a huge savings for our group, simply because we don't have enough resources typically to just sit around and type in forms that have already been handled. So that's where you can take, and you take a business process, and this is what we're going to expect in some of the Capstone, is some of the business processes that we have, they're going to sound very easy. It's going to be your job to interview the folks and really find out, and maybe interview some additional people. You have the ability to say, I need to talk to someone about this. And find out if you can go from A to B to C, maybe skipping this, because this is the way it always was. With an electronic form, we don't need that. Maybe we can go from A to C. So maybe there's things that we can cut out, maybe things we can change, maybe procedures and processes that we can change. So we look at it as a combination of documenting business processes and also business process improvement, because you can slim down processes that you can build. Everybody in the paper had to see it. Another typical case is our termination form, which is now taking that global. But the termination form, when someone is terminated, the manager has to fill out a piece of paper. It used to be a piece of paper that we're out of the ground, and maybe if HR needs to call the network guys to eliminate the network access right away, maybe they got taken out of the system. And the auditors got wind of it and said, no, you have to guarantee that those people are taken out of the system. That's a security risk. We don't want anybody in there that's been terminated to still have access to any of our system. How do we do that? Well, one thing we do is put it in one electronic form. It goes out to security, notifies them that someone was terminated, notifies HR that they were terminated, notifies IT, and several people within IT, all at the same time. So everybody knows exactly at the same time. That's another benefit, because now you're not routing one sheet of paper to 30 pieces, 30 places. You're taking it and shoving it out into 30 places right away, and when you bring it back, it's the same one form. It's just all the different approvals are already on it. saving, space saving, time saving. It takes a whole lot less to build it. Business process, and a hardcore examination of the business process. What I'd love to see, the best one that I'd love to see is someone come in and tell us, we don't need a process at all. We just eliminate it. We don't need this at all. It's now been replaced by 6 other things or whatever. That's ideal. I'd love to see that. Other things that we need to see is we no longer need these 2 forms to combine them. Many times we'll combine forms because it's just easier. If someone's asking for internet access, they'll probably ask you for network access at the same time, right? Because you have to have one or the other of both. Just put it on the same form. Why would we make 2 separate forms for people? You know. So it's crazy. It's wide open. We have, you know, and when Rebecca approached us, we said, gee, you know, we've got more than just one. You guys want to get involved, so there's more than enough. And for the capstones, some of the ones that we're working on, we have with that termination process. We're now taking it worldwide for every employee at Emerson Climate. So Europe has to get on. Well, then you run into some technical issues. They didn't have active access loaded, so they couldn't run the form. So now we've got land estimates, split that, and put it on everybody's desk, put the active access form. So that was taken care of, but now they can all submit the termination forms so that corporate U.S. now knows when someone over there has left in Europe. The reason that is because anymore we have global systems. So if someone has access over in Europe and they're terminated, we didn't know. We don't know who that is. We still don't know who that is to this day until they start using this form. Well, now, starting as of last month, we'll know when someone leaves. So we'll know to be able to take their name out of the access. And that's huge. The auditors they play a major part in all of this audit. Why? You know, there's certain things you have to do and certain stuff you have to take, regardless of what you like. A lot to do with it. I did go back to some forms that we typically use. I think we had a chance to really went over those a lot.
Yeah, I gave them
the workflow process specifications we fill out, and then the charter.
I'm going to copy that.
Right. And this is the type that we get for every workflow, so that when we're done, what we expect from you guys is to have enough of a form drawn up. Doesn't have to be absolute by you and everything, because we do have standards. So we'll hand you a stamp template, and then you just go from there. If you need to add this field, these fields, write that all up. Tell us the process for each field, what goes on with it, where it goes, the next step along the way, who has to sign it, what authority level, and so forth, and completely document the workflows. Because what happens is we don't have any workflow programmers here. I've got a team in India. They report to us. They're Emerson employees. We have 3 plants in India. And we just take that and we hand it over to them and expect that to come back as a completed workflow. But they have to have that documentation. Right now, we're behind because I've got one guy doing the documentation and doing the analysis. So your work will be used. It's valuable to us. It's important to us. If you don't like the project that you're on, or you don't think it's enough, let me know. I got 20 other ones ready to go. Anytime you're ready. There's just, again, like you said, like if you think about it, every form is a long workflow. And so the possibilities are almost endless with the number of forms that are running around.